job search strategist. So my focus in career coaching is to help you find a job very, very quickly. I work with over 25,000 professionals in helping them learn about job search strategies through my webinars, my coaching programs, and my courses. And I've partnered with the Indian School of Business in Hyderabad to help their students learn about job search. I partnered with Upgrad, the School of Inspired Leadership, and the sites that you can see here like Naukri and Monster, and the Government of India's National Career Service. So why am I saying all this? I'm saying this to impress upon you the point that I know what I'm talking about, and I'm bringing all that knowledge and the experience and the wisdom to our session today. In terms of my personal life, well, a little bit. I come from an armed forces background. My father retired from the Indian Army many years back. And because of our army background, I've stayed in small town India in places like Port Blair, Shillong, Vizag. I've done my graduation from Hindu College in Delhi and then my MBA from JBIMS, Mumbai University. And I'm now based in Canada with my family. What really motivates me is the kind of success working professionals like you have got when they have attended this session. For example, Tarun Sachdev wrote into me. He had attended a session that you're attending right now and said, "Hi Vikram, sincerely wanted to thank you. Your strategy of LinkedIn connections and online etiquette helped me get a relevant job at L&T Infotech. Thank you so much." Gopal wrote in and said, "Dear Vikram sir, thank you for your valuable seminar." Which seminar? The one that you're watching right now. I have received 4 offer letters and I'm now confused that which one I have to accept. And of course, he has a lovely problem. It's a nice problem to have where you have multiple offers with multiple salaries. Sangeeta wrote in and said, "Good evening, sir. I have great news to share with you. I got an offer letter from a new startup company today evening. It has hired me as a team leader with a decent hike of 48%. And then the second line says, "I'm waiting for a response from WNS company as well." So she got 2 offers by listening to the session that you're about to start listening to. Shweta Chari wrote in and said, she's another student of mine, "Hello Vikram. Today I had a final negotiation meeting. I finally got 68% increase in my salary." Pause for a moment and think. Imagine if your current salary went up by 68%, almost 70%. What would your life be like if by attending a seminar your salary goes up because you apply what you learn? It's the application of what I teach you which is going to make a tremendous difference to your professional life. Okay, so let's start with firstly, what are we going to unlearn? And that is how you're currently searching for jobs. And I'm going to be blasting some myths which are in your mind. So what is a myth? A myth is a false belief. It's something that is holding you back. Time for my next poll, and I would love to know from you, which is the number one method you are using in your job search. Now there are some options on your screen. Go ahead and select the option that is right for you while I take a water break. Right. As you can see, the number one method for a majority of people is job portals. And it's a mistake. Now, why is it a mistake? That's what we are going to learn and unlearn. This is something that I want you to change. I want you to flick a switch in your mind. When you go online, you see a lot of lovely jobs on sites like LinkedIn, Naukri, Monster, Shine, Times Jobs, etc. And it's very natural to get excited. Like this screenshot here, you can see a job as an Associate Director Digital Transformation at Tata Consumer Products, Director Area Marketing at Masterclass, great brand. You can see on the right hand side, Vice President Deutsche Bank, phenomenal brand. Naturally you get excited. You start applying for jobs. And when people apply for jobs, after that, what do? They sit back, relax, take the chill pill, and then they assume that job interviews will fall in their lap. Does it happen? Of course not. It never happens. Normally when you apply online, it's like sending your application into the dark hole of doom and you never hear back. Can you see that thumbs up button on your screen? Click that button and let me know if in the recent month or 2 months, you've applied to a lot of places and you haven't heard back. It's been radio silence. It's like recruiters are ghosting you. Has that happened to you? Click that button and let me know. And yeah, you can see on your screen also that it's happened to a lot of people. Now, why does that happen? And to answer that, I want you to focus on the screenshot of a great job that came in on LinkedIn a couple of months back. It says Head of Marketing, NIIT Limited in Gurugram. Okay, good stuff. Now focus on what I've highlighted in red. For this one role, just one role, there were 1,298 applicants. That's an insane number of applicants for one role. Almost 1,300 applicants. So if you were to divide one, the person who gets the job, by the denominator 1298, your probability of success is 0.08%. It's not even 0.1%. Does that math shock you? I hope it does. I hope it wakes you up and you realize that applying online gives you a very low probability of success. And that's not an exception, by the way. Here is another role. Director Strategy and Operations at Facebook in India. For this one role, look at what I've highlighted in red. See how you compare to 2258 applicants. Okay, pick up your calculator, do the math. The one person who gets the job divided by 2258. What do you get? The success rate is 0.05%. The success rate is actually going down. And even this is not an exception. Because at Disney Hotstar, for this role of Head of Consumer Insights, which is like Head of Market Research, there were 3,637 applicants within 1 week. Now, divide or do that same division again, and your success rate, 1 divided by 3637, is 0.03%. So you have seen that when you apply online, and you can apply for as many jobs as you want, the success rate is 0.08, 0.05, 0.03%. Now let's try to put these numbers into context, because out of context, these numbers don't mean anything. If you were to apply for a seat in the IITs, the probability of success according to the published data on the internet is between 1 and 2%, which means for every 100 students who apply, 1 or 2 get in. At IIM Ahmedabad, according to The Economist and Bloomberg, the probability of success is 0.3%. And if you were to apply to the UPSC, give the civil services exam, here is an article which says generally the UPSC pass percentage or the chance of an applicant becoming a civil services officer is around 0.2%. Now let's bring all the numbers together. And you will see that it's easier for you to get into the IITs at a percentage success rate of 1 to 2%. It's easier for you to get into IIM Ahmedabad with a success rate of 0.3% or even crack the civil services exam than to get a good job from a job portal. Because the probability of success of getting a good job from a job portal is between 0.03 to 0.08%. I hope this blows your mind. A lot of job seekers in the marketplace who don't know better blindly go online and they start searching for jobs without knowing this data. This is irrefutable data because the numbers are out there in the marketplace. This is not numbers that I have made up. What happens is that when you go for a competitive exam like an IIT exam, you can see the competition there. So you are very aware that it's a competitive exam. That does not happen in job search. So what happens in job search is, here you are, you come back home from a day of work, you fire up your computer, you switch it on, and you start applying for jobs. In that environment, there is just you and the laptop. You can't see your competition. But at that point of time, around the world, forget about around in India, There are thousands of people exactly like you who are applying to the very same job. The only thing is you can't see them. That does not mean they don't exist. That insane level of competition is there, but you just can't see it. Do not ignore it. Now you know. Now you know that when you apply for a job online, there is a lot of competition. So I hope I've smashed that one major myth in your mind, which is applying online is the easy way to get a job. Not true. Give me a thumbs up if now this has opened up a window in your mind that applying for jobs online is not the easy way. It's easy to apply, but the probability of getting a job is extremely low. Now, I fully understand and I appreciate that this goes against the very grain of your thinking. Your thinking probably is like every other random job seeker, I am going to apply for jobs online. I'll apply for 50, 100, 200 jobs and I'll get a job somewhere. It's an ineffective, inefficient way for applying for jobs. And today we're going to find out how to do it better and how to apply for jobs smarter. But the first thing that I had to teach you was to unlearn the way that you're applying for jobs is wrong. There is a much better way. So online applications should not make up more than 20% of the time. Otherwise, you are wasting your time. It's okay to continue applying. I'm not saying stop it completely. Miracles do happen and you might find a job up online, but it's not the right way. At this moment, I want you to understand that if you have only been applying for jobs online, you have been wasting a lot of time. Okay? And I want you to watch an important video with me, which talks about why you should completely stop wasting time, because time is a very precious resource. And once we watch this video together, it's a very brief video. Once we watch it together, we will go into how do you find jobs very quickly. So let's watch this together. Give me a second and I'll set it up.
You know what I hear? I hear the clock ticking. And time waits for no man. Life goes by, and it goes by quick. Don't waste those years. Don't waste them. Live them. I want you to be terrified of sitting on the sidelines and doing nothing. Waking up in 6 days or 6 weeks or 6 years or 60 years and being no closer to your goal. You've made no progress. That is the nightmare. That is what you really need to be afraid of, being stagnant. So, get up and go. That idea isn't going to execute itself. That book isn't going to write itself. Those weights out in the gym, they aren't going to move themselves. You have to do it. And you have to do it now. Don't wait anymore. Don't think anymore. Don't plan anymore. Don't contemplate anymore. Don't make any more excuses or justifications. Don't rationalize anything else. No. Take the risk. Take the gamble. Take the first step. Take action now. No complacency. No backing off. No slack whatsoever.
No more dreaming. Dreaming is over. I need specifics. What are you doing on Monday? What are you doing on Tuesday? What are you doing on Wednesday? You need to be very specific. It's time to put your pieces together of your puzzle. You need to be in a big damn hurry. Time is running out on you. There's 86,400 seconds in a day. The separator between me and you and people that win and lose is what we do with those seconds. And you're too slow. You're too casual. You think too much. You need to get in a hurry because there's an end to your life and it's coming sooner than you think. It goes by in a flicker and at some point it's going to be over.
And we want to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to start living life with a sense of urgency and using what we've got, using ourselves up, sharing what we brought into the universe to share. Because if we don't, nobody else will. Stop wasting valuable time. If we begin to live our lives as if each day were our last, our lives will take on a whole new meaning.
When you die, when life is over for you, I don't want you to have one idea left in you. I don't want one dream left in you. When you die, I want you to go for broke. Every CD that you were supposed to do, every book you were supposed to write, I want you to get everything out your system.
We get one shot at this gig right here, life. So do not wait. Go forward. No more waiting for the perfect moment, and no more indecision, and no more lies. Take the action. Get out of bed, get your feet on the ground, step forward. Give every day everything you've got. Every ounce of energy, every bead of sweat, every drop of blood until your last breath. And don't let another day slip by.
Alright, welcome back. That video gives me goosebumps because it really impresses on me that neither you nor I have excess time. We have very limited time on this planet and we need to really maximize it. And we need to be very specific about what we're doing. And today we are now going to look at specific ways to find jobs very quickly, because I know you don't have months and months of time to find a new job. So let's look at leveraging the latest in job search strategies. Remember guys that you may have found your last new job, or you may have been active in job search a couple of years back and now you're coming back into the job market. The job market has changed dramatically. So let's look at the smartest ways to find a job quickly. Time for the next poll. Let me know your opinion. Have you heard of the hidden job market and tapped into it? Have you done both? So there are some options on your screen. Go ahead and select the option that is right for you. Okay, as you can see, many of us have not heard about or have not tapped into the hidden job market, which is okay, because now I'm going to be talking about what it is and how do you tap into it. So time for the drum roll, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the hidden job market. You may know that when it comes to an iceberg, 20% of the iceberg is visible above the water and 80% is not. And in any field, irrespective of whichever field you come from, irrespective of whichever industry you come from, irrespective of however senior you are, your job market is like an iceberg. Only 20% is visible. Advertised jobs are visible on job portals. They're visible through company career sites, and a massive 80% is not visible at all. It's filled up through the hidden job market. And today we're going to take a look at how do you do that? How do you tap into that part of the job market which is below the water level? When it comes to hiring, the hiring pyramid, which you can see here, gets activated every single time there is a role in a company. And every company will start at the bottom of this pyramid, which is internal transfers, because with an internal transfer, the organization, the employer knows the employees very well. They know their strengths and weaknesses. So there is very little risk for them. If that doesn't work out, then they'll go into contacting existing staff and they'll say, hey, guess what? We have a vacancy in the company. Do you know anyone who can fill up that role? That's called the employee referral program. Another poll, let me know, does your company have an employee referral program? So as I wait for the results to come in, a referral program is where you get a certain amount of bonus, a certain pocket money to help the company find a person to fill up a role. And as you can see, many of us work in companies where there is an employee referral program. It's actually a pretty decent percentage. Yeah. So every company, every good company has an employee referral program. If that doesn't work, that's when the head of department, in whose department there is that role, will pick up the phone and speak to his or her buddies in the industry and say, you know, I've got a vacancy in my team. Do you know anyone who can fill it up? This is a short way of getting good quality candidates, and this is actually professional networking. The head of department will also go to professional organizations to scout for talent. And these professional organizations are nothing but, like, for example, Every industry has a chamber of commerce. So they will scout for talent there. There are many networking events and conferences which happen. That's where a lot of hiring also happens behind the scenes. And if that doesn't work, that's when the company goes to a recruitment agency or an executive search firm and they try to scout for talent. Now, they don't like going to a recruitment agency because they have to pay the agency a pretty sizable commission for every candidate that the agency places in the company. And it can vary from as low as 10% to as high as 30% of the candidate's annual cost to company. And if that doesn't work, that's when jobs get advertised online. Now, guys, pause for a moment. Imagine if you are the CEO of the company, all right? And you are expanding your company to a new geography and you're hiring a new sales manager. Would you like to share with the entire world and your competitors that you're looking for a VP of sales in that region? Of course not. Why would you do that? So remember that it is not in the company's interest to advertise mission critical roles online, because the moment they do that, their competitors immediately know their future plans. That is why good quality jobs, the best jobs, never get advertised online. It's too risky for the company, and when a great job gets advertised online, the company receives thousands and thousands of random, poor quality applications. So this is how the employer starts in the pyramid. They start at the bottom and they work their way to the top. How do job seekers start? In exactly the opposite way. They start at the top. Everybody rushes online. We go to job portals, company career sites, and we start applying like a madman or a madwoman, and we apply for as many jobs as possible. A few of us will also go to some executive search firms. You may know maybe 2-3 of them, and we submit a resume and say, can you help me find a job? And that is fine. The problem is we stop there. We don't tap into professional organizations. We don't tap into professional networking. We don't look at employee referral programs, and job seekers don't look at internal transfers in their current company. And therefore, they leave a lot of opportunities on the table because they haven't tapped into 80% of the hiring pyramid. And that may be somebody like you. That may be you, in fact, because you're only focusing on the jobs that you see online and you're not focusing on the bottom end of the pyramid. That's where the best jobs are. Now, I have personally spoken to a lot of HR directors of the companies that you can see on your screen right now. Without exception, everybody has told me, and these are the HR directors on the right, most top jobs are almost always filled up only by networking. They are not filled up because people are applying online. Most good companies that you can see here will never put their best jobs online. It doesn't make rational sense from the company's perspective. Online applications are great for very junior entry-level roles. Now, I want to be very clear what is networking and what is not networking, because people are confused about that. So if you go back to the previous slide, and I'm talking about jobs are filled up by networking. Networking is not emailing random HR managers asking for a job. Where you send an email saying, sir, ma'am, I'm looking for a job. I want to work in your company. That is not networking. Networking has a lot of strategy behind it. Good networking, professional networking, is firstly identifying the right people to network with. These are people who can open doors for you in your targeted dream organizations. And you have to know who these people are. Next is you have to lead with value. So what does that mean? When you network with them, you have to build a credit balance with them before you ask for a job. Asking for a job is a debit, and you cannot take a debit in a relationship where you don't have a credit. And the third thing is you have to focus on WIFM, WIIFM, what's in it for me, which means when you connect with a person who's in a part of your networking pool, you have to figure out in your conversation with them, how are you adding value to them? Because the only thing they're thinking about is, if I, for example, I'm networking with Vikram, if you are networking with me, you're thinking about, what's in it for me? Why should I spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes with Vikram? How can Vikram help me? So WIFM, please note it down in your diary. WIIFM. WIFM is very critical. WIFM works every time you connect professionally or personally with someone. They're only thinking about that relationship, that communication, that interaction from their perspective. What's in it for me? Now, if you don't think about it that way, if you just go to random people online and say, I'm looking for a job, I'm open to work, you will never find a job. Okay, time to move now to something which is important and strategic called the blue ocean strategy. I want to share this theoretical framework before we get into the tactics, because if I don't share this framework, the tactics will not make sense. Many years back, there were two Ivy League professors, Shan Kim and Rene Mabon, and they wrote this beautiful book called The Blue Ocean Strategy. I would highly encourage you to buy it for your personal library. Read the book. It's not very esoteric. It's not very, very deep. It's a very simple and easy book to read, but it's a classic in management philosophy. And I'm going to encapsulate everything that they wrote in one image. So they said, in any industry, you can have a red ocean or you can have a blue ocean. The red ocean is characterized by intense competition, where there are lots of players like each other. Everybody is fighting for market share. Everybody is unhappy. It's a dog-eat-dog world. There is a finite amount of customers, and basically everybody is unhappy. But on the other hand, in that same industry, you can have a blue ocean. And the blue ocean is a marketplace where there is no competition at all. You are the only player. You have all the potential customers to yourself, like you can see on the right hand side. So I'd love to know from you, go ahead and put in the message box, is your company in a blue ocean or in a red ocean? Go ahead and do that. In that message box, let me know, are you operating in a red ocean or a blue ocean? Okay, good to know that. I can see that a majority of us, let's just go back here, majority of us are operating in a red ocean, and that is very natural because the majority of industries are actually red oceans. But the companies who do very well are those who manage to create a blue ocean. Now, why am I saying this? Because we are going to use a blue ocean strategy in your job search. Look at these paper planes. These are all average job seekers who don't know any better and who go randomly online and apply for jobs. That's what most people do. But you, my dear friend, are going to be like that paper plane taking off in an entirely different direction. We are going to use strategy and we are going to be different. The blue ocean strategy has been responsible for the creation of iconic brands. Netflix is a blue ocean strategy brand. And you can read up on it, you can research it later. How is Netflix a blue ocean brand? Netflix created an entirely new market. Today, of course, after Netflix, you have Prime Video and many others, but Netflix created the market of downloadable movies which were uploaded on the cloud. You could download and view them, or you could stream them onto your device. Netflix created a new market. Airbnb is again a classic blue ocean brand. They created the market which did not exist before Airbnb. The market for hotels is extremely competitive. It's a red ocean, but Airbnb created a blue ocean. iTunes, another great brand, which is in a blue ocean brand. Before iTunes, you had to buy music from a CD. You had to buy a CD or you had to buy a music cassette to listen to music. iTunes changed the rules of the game. And even in India, there are many blue ocean brands. In the message box, go ahead and let me know what is your example that you would like to share of an iconic blue ocean Indian brand. Put it in the message box and let me know. When it comes to your job search, all right, we are now looking at something which is very critical. This framework is called the job search framework. Your job search framework gets activated. It's like a job funnel, and it gets activated every single time you become active in the job market. Now, the thing is that most job seekers, not you, but most job seekers, focus on the bottom end of the funnel. They focus on job opportunities, and they're petrified of the amount of competition. They're anxious, they're stressed. They're saying, oh my God, I need a job. I hope I can find a job. They're focusing at the bottom end where there's a lot of competition and very few jobs. But you're going to be different, right? You are going to focus at the top end of the funnel. That is, you're going to be focusing on getting the best leads into that funnel. When you get the best leads into the funnel takes care of job opportunities at the bottom end. This is something most people don't do. Most people go to job portals, which is the equivalent of focusing downstream, focusing on the lower end of the funnel. But we are not going to do that because we want to get a job in the fastest, shortest time possible with the least amount of effort. We are going to combine the two. And to do that, we're going to use a framework called CAR, C-A-R. So what is the CAR framework? I'm going to show you a demo. In the meantime, feel free to make a note of it. The first part of the CAR framework is companies, and we are going to be targeting a specific set of companies. Let me be very clear here. These are not companies which are advertising jobs, because by the time they advertise a job, it is too late. It's game over. You need to target a very different set of companies. These are companies who are going to hire people in the near future, even though they don't know it yet. So you may have a question, hey Vikram, how do you do that? You do that by using 3 metrics. And I'm going to show you a demo of all 3 of them. But first, let's look at what the metrics are. All right. The first metric is we are going to look at the fastest growing companies in the country today. Why? Because fast growing companies are going to require more people to fuel that growth. They can't do that. They can't fuel that growth if they have the same number of people. So you have to identify in your industry which companies are growing very, very fast. And today I'll show you how to do that in just a second. So metric number 1, fast growing companies. Metric number 2, we're going to look at the best places to work. Why? Because companies which are the best places to work will always pay more than market rate. Companies which are best places to work will allow you to have a great work-life balance. They will actually nurture you and make sure you thrive at work. And who doesn't want to work in a company like that, right? And the third metric is we're going to look at companies entering India. So these are the 3 metrics. Companies entering India, by the way, have huge budgets. They don't have people here. They're looking for talent. So you can put your hand up and say, hey, here I am. I want to work for you guys. I have the right skill set. So these are the 3 metrics. And now we are going to do a demo of that. Okay. To do the demo, we are going to head over to our friend Google. Our search is going to start on Google. So give me a second. And here I am on Google. And I'm going to type into the search bar a particular phrase. Remember, the first metric is fastest growing companies. So let's come here and type in India fastest growing companies 2024. And let's look at the results together. So you have a result from Equity Master, fastest growing stocks. Well, this is a great result. Statista is a really good organization. We are going to right click and open that up. Times of India, top 15 growing companies. All right, so these are companies which are growing faster than market rate. And you can see lots of results, which I would encourage you to open up. For the purposes of this webinar, I'm going to look at one result, which is from Statista. So here we are. And we are just going to refresh this, just make sure that everything is good. Statista is an organization which works very closely with the Financial Times and the Economic Times in India. Okay, now what we're going to do here is we are going to sort by country, because in this example, I'm looking for the fastest growing companies in India. And you will see here the list of the top 100 fastest growing companies in India. Not only that, you can click any of these buttons and you can figure out more about them. You can even shortlist by industry depending on whichever industry you are a part of. So there's no reason why you can't make a list of 10, 15, 20 companies which are growing very, very fast where you want to work. You can do that and you must do that. Remember, what are we looking for? fastest growing companies in the country. Step one. Now, after that, let's go back to our friend Google, and we are looking for India best places to work 2024. So I'm clicking that, and the first result that I get is great places to work. Let's open that up. Let's go down. Ambition Box also has another really good authoritative result. So let's look at these two. First one is India's best companies to work for 2024. Awesome. This is their latest report. So I'm going to go through this right now with you. And I'm scrolling down. And I can see a list of 100 best places to work. If you are searching for a job, at least 10 or 20 of them should be on your radar. You should have a database, an Excel sheet of these companies. And that data is available here. Click the thumbs up button if you like this. Because this is now proven data to show that there are companies in your geography, in your location, depending on wherever you are based, whichever industry you are a part of, there are lots of companies here which you can research more. Not only that, let's go deeper. Remember guys, in this session, I want to go as deep as possible to give you tangible and insights which are actionable for you. So let's go to lists, and you will see that there are multiple lists here. All right. So let's look at, for example, if you are in BFSI, which are the best places to work in banking and finance. If you are in, for example, IT, all right, let's look at best places to work in IT. And let's look at, if you're a lady, here is another example of best places to work for women. So let's look at all of them. The first one that I'm pulling out is India's best places to work in BFSI. That's the banking and financial services industry. If you scroll down, you will see that entire list. My dear friend, if you are in banking and finance, why don't you have that list? And if you do, then why aren't you getting in touch with these people? Because these are the best places to work. Their work-life balance is great. Their employees are saying that, you know, the company is really good. You need to really target and go deep into these companies. The devil lies in the details. This is how detailed targeting is taking place. Let's look at another example. India's best places to work in IT. So my question to you, if you are in IT, is, have you got this list? Have you downloaded it? Are you going through each of these companies step by step? And if not, why not? Now you can. There are 100 entries here, 100 IT companies which have been voted as the best places to work. And in the webinar for ladies, I've got you covered, because here you can download India's best workplaces for women. On the left hand side, there is a list which you can download, which are large multinational organizations. You can view the list. And on the right side, mid-sized organizations. The choice is yours. The point is, guys, that there is a lot of information and free data out there. It's available provided you know how to make sense out of it. And so far we have looked at great places to work. Another site which is really good is Ambition Box. And Ambition Box also has the top rated large companies to work for. They have a list where they have filtered the list by size: mega companies, large companies, tech startups. They also have a list for women. Now don't tell me that you don't know which is a good company to work if you're a lady, because the lists are there. And they've also got lists sector wise. So there's no reason why you can't figure out which are the best places to work in your category, in your niche, for senior leaders, for middle level, for junior leaders. That data is all available. You just have to pick it up. Okay, so what did we do first? First, we looked at the fastest growing companies, and here was one example. And then we looked at best places to work. Now, the third thing is you need to type in, and let's go back to Google. Before that, let me just shut down a few of the tabs which are open in my browser. And let's go back to Google and type in the next phrase. 1 minute. Companies entering India 2024. And you will see Business Standard has said there are 25 global retail brands likely to enter the country. 25. Do you know who they are? If you don't, why not? If you tell me, Vikram, I'm searching for a job, I'm desperate for a job, my question to you would be, all right, give me the name of the top 25 companies entering India, and of them, how many have you got in touch with? Now, if those companies, for example, here, you can see here, 25 global retail brands. If you are not in retail, don't have a narrow vision. Vikram, I'm not in retail. How can I apply for a retail brand? You're missing the point. Because a retail brand will require people in supply chain, finance, IT, logistics, business strategy, sales, marketing, in every function. You don't have to come from a retail background to work in a retail brand. So I would urge you to go through these articles and make a list of companies which are entering the country. So my point here, guys, is that it's very easy for you to make a list of 20 to 25 companies. Actually, according to me, I think 25 should be the bare minimum of fastest growing, best places to work and companies entering India. All right. Will you do that? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up right now if you promise to make a list of 25 companies that you are going to be targeting in the next 1 month. Awesome. Well done. Okay, let's move on. So in the car method, the first thing we're doing is we're identifying companies. Ab wo ho gaya. That's done, right? I've shown you how to do that. The next thing you have to do is target your alumni. Now, people may make a mistake here. The mistake they make is they go onto LinkedIn, and if they're searching for a job, especially if they have a career break, they put on that green band open to work, and they just ask anybody, I'm searching for a job, can you help me? That's the wrong strategy. You have to understand that, as you can see on the screen, people do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. So unless somebody knows you, unless somebody likes you professionally, unless somebody gets to trust you, what's in it for them to help you? Nothing. So why should they help you? So to overcome that, we need to target a specific pool of people and not everybody on LinkedIn. And that pool of people is your alumni. Now there are two types of alumni that I'm talking about, not just your educational alumni, which is there, but the other one is your professional alumni. To explain how you do that, we are going to take an example. Now let's assume that I'm in Microsoft and I want to work in Google. Okay, as I explain this example, remember, please, if you are not from a tech background, it does not matter. I'm taking a tech example, moving from Microsoft to Google, but even if you are not in tech, the same principles will apply. Okay, let's come back here. So I'm a manager in Microsoft. I want to work in Google. What do I do? Well, let's do a demo, okay? I want to keep this interaction interesting. So from time to time, I will be jumping from the screens and from the presentation, from the slides, and getting into a demo. So now what we're going to do is we are going to LinkedIn. All right, let it load up. And all the action that you will see now is going to happen in this little search bar here. This search bar is critical. Okay, very few professionals use the search bar to network on LinkedIn. Remember that the aim of LinkedIn is not to go and apply for jobs. This little icon here is important, but not very important. It's not to figure out who's seen your profile. But the aim of LinkedIn is actually to use the search bar and connect and network with the right people. That's what LinkedIn was meant for. So let's come here and type in people. All right? Because we are looking for people. Now focus on all these buttons here and let's go all the way to the right and let's look at all filters. So I'm going to click that, and remember, I'm in Microsoft India and I'm looking for people and I'm wanting to move to Google. So what I'm trying to do is I'm now going to be looking for my professional alumni, which is, listen carefully, okay? Listen carefully. I'm looking for people who are working in Google but have worked in Microsoft in the past, because they are your professional alumni. They have something in common with you. They have worked in the company you're currently working in. So how do we do that? First, we come to location and select India. Okay. Their current company should be what? It should be Google, because you want to work in that dream company. And the past company should be Microsoft. Now let's see how many such people exist. 179 results. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a gold mine of information. 179 people in Google can help you. They have something in common with you. They have worked at Microsoft in the past. They know what you're going through. They can empathize with you. They can tell you what's it like to work in Google. They can take your resume and give it to the right hiring manager. They can take your resume and give it to the right HR manager. They can tell you who is the right HR manager to connect with. Are you doing that in your research on LinkedIn? And if not, now you know how to do that. Okay, at the moment 179 is a large number. Let's assume in this example that you're based in Bangalore. So what I would do is I would narrow this down from India to Bangalore. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to select that, and remember to uncheck India, otherwise you won't get anything much. So now you're looking for people who are working in Google, who have worked in Microsoft in the past and are based in Bangalore, which is your hometown where you are currently based. And from 179, that number falls to 77. This is mind-blowing because these people are in your city. Have a virtual call with them. And even better, if you can, try to have a cup of coffee with them. Take them out for a little coffee and say, listen, can we have a 15-20 minute chat? I'm trying to search for a job in Google. We have worked in Microsoft in the past. So these are people to connect with. Now let's look at, for example, Madhusmita Mohanty. All right, let's look at her profile. Okay, so she's working in Google, but not so long back, she was a technical recruiter in your company where you're working right now. She was at Microsoft. And guess what? She is also, as a bonus, she's a hiring manager. She's an HR manager. She's looking for people. What a coincidence. This is amazing. And this is how you would now network with her. So how do you network with her? There are a couple of ways to do it. The smart way and the easy or lazy way. Let's start with the easy and lazy way first. Most people who are lazy will click connect and click send without a note. Now, when that happens, do not expect a response back. As a career coach, I get hundreds of connection requests every day where people want to connect with me because they're searching for a job, but they don't even take the pain or bother to connect with a note. So I never respond back. What you should do is add a note, and a very simple note saying that, hey, hi Vikram, would love to connect with you on LinkedIn. Or in this case, hi Madhusmita, would love to connect with you on LinkedIn if that's fine with you. Now what happens is that then Madhusmita knows that you are trying your best to put your best foot forward. You have taken the effort to write a little note. The probability of her connecting with you rises exponentially. The next thing that you can do, which is even better, is to look at your mutual connections. See, LinkedIn knows that the best way to connect with people is through mutual connections. These are people who know Madhusmita and me in common. I don't know Madhusmita at all, but I know people, and I'll click this here, who know her and me. Fantastic. So let's assume that I know Ganesh Bhandarkar very well. I would pick up the phone and then I would tell Ganesh, hey, hi Ganesh, buddy, long time. How are you doing? Listen, I looking for a job in Google and I found that you know Madhusmita, I want to connect with her. Can you help me? Then all Ganesh has to do is go to his message icon here and write a message connecting Madhusmita with me. And then it's up to me to take that conversation forward. But what he has done is he's broken the ice between two strangers. So remember that mutual connections work very, very, very well. Okay, so that's how connections are made. This is your professional alumni. So let's go back. What have we done? Let's look at what we have done. We have searched for people. Then we have narrowed down the location to either India or whichever city you're based in. You have looked at, in fact, let me open up all filters. So location is the greater Bangalore area in this example. The current company should be the dream company where you want to work. The past company is the company you are working in. And if you can't find your company here, you can always add a company. You can type out the name and then leave everything blank and click show results. 77 people can help you. How many people are you tapping into? And that is my question to you as a job seeker. Do you have that list? Okay, so this was professional alumni. Now, it's not the end of the game because you should also look at your educational alumni. And to explain that, I'm going to take myself as an example because there's no other way to do it. So I graduated many years back from JBIMS, Jamanalal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies in Mumbai. So let's come here and pull up. Let's pull up their LinkedIn page. I'm going to do that and I'm going to click the page. So this is the page. Now, just as I'm going through my alma mater's page, you should be thinking about your alma mater's LinkedIn page. Once you come here, you open this up, come here to alumni. This is what I want you to focus on. Let's click here and you will see that JBIMS has 13,709 alumni. Okay, that's good to know, but it doesn't help me at all. What I want to know is how many of them have worked in my dream company, that is Google. So let's type in Google and click enter. 49 people. There are 49 educational alumni for me, Shri Vikram Anand, who have worked in my dream company. And now I would go through all of them and I would see who are the more relevant ones, narrow down that list of 49 alumni, which you can see here, to maybe 10, 20, reach out to them through the alumni directory or reach out to them through LinkedIn, connect with them and say, you have either worked at Google or you're working there. Listen, I come from the same institute. We are basically alumni. Can you help me? Can you give me some advice? Always start by asking for advice. So this is how you connect with your educational alumni. So what we have done so far is we have looked at the top companies that we want to target, where they may be jobs or they may not be jobs, but we have used our 3 filters. Do you remember what the filters are? Let's quickly refresh your memory. Fastest growing companies, best places to work, and companies entering India. Then from there, from our list of dream companies, we have looked at our professional and educational alumni. And the reason we have done that is people who have something in common with you are more likely to hire you or help you. And now we look at the last part of CAR, which is recruiters. These are recruiters in a company. Recruiters are actually of 2 types, external recruiters and internal recruiters. Internal recruiters is what I'm talking about right now. External recruiters are executive search firms or executive search consultants. We're not talking about that in this model, but we're talking about internal recruiters. So let's look at a demo of how do you target these recruiters and who are they in the first place. Let's go back to LinkedIn. Okay, so let's come back here and let's type in, or you can go back here, you can type in people. And once you do that, come back to all filters. Remember, the all filters button is the important button. Okay, so let's do this very slowly, step by step. Location, India, assuming you're searching for a job in India. Current company should be, remember your dream company right now in this example is you want to work in Google. And leave everything else blank. Leave past company blank. Go all the way down and under title, type in recruiter. Okay, I've done that. And show results. 40 recruiters. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 40 people in Google who are searching for talent like you. These recruiters are not any average corporate manager. They're actually actively looking for talent. Their KRA is to find talent. So for example, Krupa Ravi. All right, let's open up her profile. Let's look at Ankita. We are looking for the one. Who is the one? You. Let's open up her profile. Senior tech recruiter, career coach at Google. Great. Get in touch with her. Why can't you do that if you're searching for a job? She's looking for somebody like you. And again, a good way of connecting is by using mutual connections. These are people I know very well, and some of them are likely to know her very well, Krupa Ravi. Likewise, you have Ankita Satardekar. We are looking for the one. She's looking for professional talent like you if you want to work in Google. So that's how you go to, or that's how you do a demo of recruiters. So this is the CAR method. We have started at the top. by targeting companies. Then we have looked at professional alumni, educational alumni, and then we have looked at recruiters. I hope that made sense. Now, once you do that, please remember, do not reach out to them and say, I need a job, I really want a job, oh, I'm desperate, here is my resume. That is not networking. When you do that, you are not going to connect with them well. In fact, you're going to break your network of connection with them because they don't know you right now. They don't know who you are. Remember guys, when you ask for a job, let me repeat this clearly. When you ask for a job from anybody, you're trying to take a huge debit in a relationship where you don't have credit yet. How can you do that? How can you open up a bank account today, not put any money in it, and try to take 1,000 rupee withdrawal? You can't. There is no money in it. How can you take a withdrawal? So do not do this. Do not say, I need a job, please help me. Nobody is going to help you. The way to rephrase that request is, how can I contribute to the growth opportunities in your company? Please note this down. How can I contribute to the growth opportunities in your company? That is going to make a tremendous difference. Because what you're doing is you're pivoting, you're shifting your mindset and the way you are perceived from a job seeker who's saying, help me, I need a job, please, I'm helpless, I'm desperate. You're shifting from that to a problem solver. When you're saying, how can I contribute to the growth opportunities in your company? You're signaling to the HR manager, dude, I'm not a job seeker, I'm a problem solver. If you have a problem, I can solve it. So that mindset shift makes a huge positive impact in the eyes of the recruiter. Remember something, companies hire problem solvers, not job seekers. Please note this down. Companies hire problem solvers. Companies are in the business of making profit. They want to increase their revenue, they want to reduce their cost, and they will hire anybody who can help them do that. So therefore, they're looking for problem solvers. No company on this planet is looking to hire job seekers who want a job, right? That's pretty logical. But yet, job seekers think about searching for a job rather than positioning themselves as a problem solver. So ask yourself, in your mind, in your head right now, are you positioning yourself as a job seeker or as a problem solver? And if this has opened up a window in your mind, give me that thumbs up and let me know that now you know that there is an alternative. There's a choice to start thinking like a problem solver, and you must. So here is an example of one of my students, Matthew. He wrote into me and said, Dear Vikram, and the best thing, I connected with my ex-bosses and applied your technique. How can I contribute instead of, do you have any job opportunities for me? I got a job offer from my ex-boss at a 45% hike. Really grateful to you, Vikram. So Matthew did two things very cleverly. Firstly, he did not go to any random person. He went to his ex-boss where he had a credit balance. The boss already knew his strengths and weaknesses. And then he applied the strategy which I'm sharing with you. And no wonder in one day, he was able to get a new job with a 45% hike. So imagine what kind of role you would get, with what kind of hike you would get if you were to reposition yourself in the eyes of the recruiter or the HR manager as a problem solver. So what you get when you do this exercise and you really apply and implement this is, you will have a targeted list of at least 25 companies. In each of the companies, you will have a list of 10 alumni, maybe 5 professional and 5 educational. You will have a targeted list of at least 5 recruiters in those companies, which means a list of 125 recruiters. When you add it up, you are starting with a list of 375 leads to help you find a job. Whereas most job seekers start with 0 leads, absolutely 0. Give me a thumbs up if that is something that motivates you. I hope it does. You know, we've been sitting together in this webinar right now. I hope this motivates you and says, yes, I'm going to start my job search with 375 leads, as Vikram says, or even more if you want to. And I would applaud you for that, versus most job seekers who start with no leads at all. who have no idea how to network. Now you know how to network and you have a list of 375 leads. This is called a blue ocean strategy. Very few people even know how to do it, and even fewer actually do this. You're starting off in an entirely different way with much better possibilities of result. The probability is a lot higher because remember, hiring is a P2P business. It's a person-to-person interaction. When you find out your professional alumni, your educational alumni, when you look at recruiters who want to hire you, you're engaging with another human being rather than an algorithm which will decide when you apply online whether your resume is going to get shortlisted or not. This is a much better method. Time for another poll. How many leads do you currently have in your job search? So there are a couple of options there. Go ahead and select the option that is right for you. You can see yourself, right? There are many of us don't know any leads or don't have any leads or have very few leads. Hopefully now, by the end of this exercise, you at least in your mind have a structure of how to go out there and get 375 leads. Ladies and gentlemen, please understand, job search has changed dramatically in the last 3 years. The hiring practices and mechanisms which were prevalent earlier do not work as well today. There's a lot of AI, there are a lot of tools which have come in, people are networking a lot more, and you're getting a little bit of a glimpse of that in today's session. I have personally spoken to all these HR directors, senior HR executives, lots of recruiters because I'm in that business, and they all say, we love seeing initiative from talent when they reach out to us in a creative way. So there's no reason why you should feel overwhelmed. Oh my God, I'm reaching out to the director at Amex or Coca-Cola. What will they think of me? They actually want you to reach out to them in a nice, creative, sensible, smart way. Let's read this little email which came in from one of my students. When he used the same strategy which I've spent the last half an hour sharing with you called the blue ocean strategy, let's look at what happened to him. So he wrote in and said, Dear Vikramanand sir, I hope this message finds you well. I'm writing to express my sincere gratitude for the profound impact the blue ocean strategy has had on my career. Following the recent unexpected layoff, which means he was laid off from his company at my previous company, I found myself in a challenging position. However, the principles you taught proved to be incredibly transformative. Applying the blue ocean strategy not only provided me with a new mindset, but also enabled me to connect with the right people at the right time, delivering my message with precision. That's called focused job search. This strategic approach led me to a remarkable opportunity. I'm thrilled to share that I have joined XYZ company as the Director of Content Strategy effective September 16th. This new role represents a significant step towards forward in my career with an elevated designation and a decent pay scale. While my initial goal was to secure a position quickly, which he did, the blue ocean strategy offered me a broader perspective. It guided me towards a role that aligns perfectly with my expertise and aspirations in a cutting-edge company. Thank you once again for imparting such valuable knowledge. Your guidance has been instrumental in this successful transition, and I look forward to applying the blue ocean strategy principles to drive further success in my new role. The reason I've spent time in reading this mail is to impress on you that the blue ocean strategy works across fields, across sectors, even for senior professionals like this gentleman, provided you work on it. Sitting back in this webinar and maybe having a cup of tea and watching it passively is not going to help you. It's the application which is going to help you. So, have you enjoyed the time that you have stayed with me thus far, so far? Give me a thumbs up if you have, if you've enjoyed learning new concepts and new strategies of job search, which you may not be familiar with, or even if you've heard of them, but you've picked up some new tips and tricks. Give me that thumbs up. Thank you guys, I appreciate you. Love the thumbs up that are coming in. Thank you. You have a choice. Just as you had a choice to attend today's webinar or not, and you decided to invest time, as you are here right now, you have a choice of going into the job market as a job seeker or as a problem solver. That choice is yours. A job seeker, and most people are job seekers, follow the herd. They apply online and only online because they think it's easy, but they don't know better. They hope to get shortlisted and they give up very quickly. The average job seeker gives up very, very quickly. The moment they face a few rejections, they go back to their dead-end job. And 99% of your competition, 99% of people in India searching for a job are in the job seeker's mindset. However, there is a small subset of people called problem solvers who lead the pack. They make their own destiny. They're at the driver's seat of the job search. They network very, very effectively for jobs. They persevere and they get multiple offers. And it's my endeavor to ensure that you are actually in this small pool of winners rather than the previous pool of people who waste a lot of time. If you remember that video, we don't have time to waste. Every second is an important second that's gone by. And that choice of right now, whether you want to be a job seeker or problem solver, will make or break your job search in the future. So what you learned today in this Dream Job webinar is all about networking. All right, there's a lot that we learned in the time that we had. But this is the tip of the iceberg. Once you network well with a recruiter, an HR manager, a hiring manager, they will want to know more about you. So I still have to teach you about how do you create a kick-ass LinkedIn profile that people are going to engage with you on. How do you write a world-class resume that's going to excite the reader and pass through the applicant tracking system? I still have to teach you how do you ace a job interview and transact very well. There is a framework for it. There is a model called NEXT, which stands for network, engage, excite, and transact. And in today's session, you have seen just the tip of the iceberg where we spoke a little bit about networking. The problem is the time that we've spent so far isn't enough for me to teach you everything about job search. Job search is actually a very complex, elaborate topic. And we've scratched the surface. I've been able to hopefully open up some windows in your mind. But for me to teach you everything that you need to know, we need to stay together for at least 10 hours more. Now, I know that that's not practical, right? Because you haven't planned to spend 10 hours with me today. But you need to stay with me longer for me to teach you all else that you need to know. Once you network well, how do you ensure that you have a great LinkedIn profile, a fantastic resume, you ace job interviews, etc. So with that said, may I have your permission to share my upcoming 3-day Dream Job Accelerator to help you find a job quickly? If you're curious about it, give me the thumbs up and let me know. Click that thumbs up icon, let me know. That little button you can see on your screen, and let me know if I have your permission. Because if I do, then I will certainly share it with you if you're curious about how can you stay longer with me to learn more. Great, I can see some responses coming in. Thank you guys, I appreciate that. Let's continue. The 3-day Dream Job Accelerator is designed for you to stay longer with me for 3 days more. You have stayed with me for 2 hours and you have learned a lot in the last 2 hours about job search. Imagine what happens if you stay with me for 3 days, and that is the synopsis of the Dream Job Accelerator. The Dream Job Accelerator, the 3-day accelerator agenda is like this. We start on a Thursday from 8:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. 3 hours, 3 intense hours where I will cover resumes and cover letters. I will go super deep into both of them. On Friday at 8:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. IST, these are all IST timings, we will talk about job interviews. And on Saturday, we will talk about networking and LinkedIn. So the Dream Job Accelerator happens every alternate Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The timings are fixed, which is from 8:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. IST. That's when most working professionals can leverage what I'm about to teach. On day 1, which is on Thursday, we will talk about the 5 resume mistakes you have in your resume. I haven't seen your resume yet, but I can guarantee you have these 5 mistakes in it. And I'll show you what they are and how to overcome them. Then I will prepare a full resume strategy, which I will share with you, because every single paragraph in your resume should be strategically written. Then I will do a resume demo. So we will walk through a real world resume and I'll teach you how to make it as good as what you're seeing on the screen. We will do resume optimization, which means how do you optimize your resume so that it passes through an applicant tracking system using something called keyword injection. I'll talk about 3 resume reviews of people like you, working professionals, who have sent their resume to me for a review. I've reviewed them and I'll show you the mistakes they're making so that you don't make them. Let's not reinvent the wheel, right? If somebody's made a mistake, let's go and try to make sure that we don't make the same mistake. Then I will talk about AI for resumes. Today, AI, generative AI, plays a massive role in resumes and cover letters. So we're going to talk about that. If you either work abroad or if you want to work abroad, we'll talk about international resumes. I'll share with you what HR directors are thinking about when it comes to resumes. And then on that first day, we will end with cover letters and why cover letters are important. How do you draft a cover letter, and a lot of great fun stuff. So it's a power packed 3-hour agenda on one topic, resumes and cover letters. Now you may say that's great, but so what? Remember guys, in life, question everything, including what I'm saying. I want you to be in a very inquisitive frame of mind. If I have said that on the first day, you're going to get all of this, your response to me should be, Vikram, that's great, but so what? What does that get me? Well, what that gets you is you will be able to craft your own world-class resume in just 2 days, the shortest time possible with the least amount of effort. That's my promise to you. On Friday, we will talk about job interviews. Now, there are 2 types of interviews we talk about, in person and virtual. I'll start with your mindset first because you will win or lose a job interview in your mind. So I will reprogram your mind when it comes to job search. I'll walk you through a full process of job interviews. What do you do before an interview, during an interview, and after an interview? Then I'll talk about virtual interviews, body language, grooming. I'll give you a strategy of how to crack an interview and how do you answer the tricky questions that get asked. Again, one topic for 3 hours from 8:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. IST on Friday. So what? That sounds great, but what does that get me? That's the question that should be in your mind. And the answer is you will have learned how to master interviews in just 1 day. That's my promise to you. And then on Saturday, which is the grand finale, we will look at advanced networking. What you've learned right now in this little 2 hour is this scratching the surface of networking. We will go deep into the 4 types of recruiters in the marketplace, the best executive search firms. I will share the names of who they are, and then I'll also talk about how do you get in touch with them. And then we will look at how do you create a superb LinkedIn profile. We will walk through strategy. I'll show you a demo step by step. I'll hold your hand and walk you step by step in terms of creating a great LinkedIn profile. Because we live in a digital world today, your LinkedIn profile will be seen even before your resume is asked for. I'm aware of that. I want to make sure you have a really good LinkedIn profile. So what? Remember, always keep saying, Vikram, that sounds good. What is the outcome of that? The outcome of that is you will learn how to create your own top-notch LinkedIn profile in 2 days. In just a weekend, you will have a crackerjack, kick-ass LinkedIn profile. So this is the overview of the 3-day Dream Job Accelerator. My aim in the entire program is what you can see in green below. To help you get the best results in the shortest time with the least amount of effort from your side. Let's work intelligently and smartly. As you saw in that video earlier, that motivational video, we don't have time to waste. So this is the schedule. These are live webinars. All of them. There are limited seats because I have booked a webinar room of a particular size. They always happen on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The dates are on your screen right now. You can see them. So make sure you note the dates very, very carefully. That's very important. It's every alternate week, not every week. See the exact dates on your screen. And this 3-day packed session is only for action takers. It's only for people who are willing to invest 3 days with me to ensure they get ahead of the competition. And I do not provide any recordings or any slides during the session. The reason is very simple. I want you to put in work. I want you to take an empty notepad and bring it to the session. And by the time the session is over, the 3 days are over, your notepad should be full of notes. Because when you write notes, you will burn the new concepts in your mind. If you know that you will get a recording at the end of the day, you'll be sitting back having a cup of coffee and watching it passively. That's a waste of your time and a complete waste of my time. So I do not provide any recordings at all. Be very clear about that. No recordings, no slides. Intentionally, because that's how my students have got transformative results. When they have rolled up their sleeves and written notes, copious notes during the 3 days. So let's look at a specific case study of what happened to a student, a working professional like you who attended the 3 days. Let's talk about Sachin Tamvekar. He's a middle-level manager and in Pune, I think. And before the 3-day Dream Job Accelerator, he was unable to convert job applications to interviews. He was setting them up, but he wasn't able to crack an interview. However, after going through just these 3 days, look at the result in green. He got a new job in 1 week of graduating from this 3-day program with a 43% salary hike and a joining bonus. He joined a company called Hexaware Technologies in Mumbai. What I'd like you to do is watch this little video clip where he has a message for you. All right? So let's watch this together. Hi, Sachin, and a very, very warm welcome to this brief interaction. Really happy to have you with us.
Thank you.
Sachin, I'd like to get started first by asking you, why did you invest your time in the 3-day program? You know, when you learned about it, what was going on in your mind?
Okay, so basic intention was I was trying to apply for multiple jobs with the job portals, but it was not working. The problem statement was applying on a job portal is too late in the cycle. That is the real fact right now, and competition will be a little bit high. I was aware of the problem, but I was not aware what exactly solution for this problem. And all of a sudden, I came across your advertising on social media, and then I thought of joining this session. Once I joined this session, it was first day. Somebody is sitting in front of me, and he is explaining what exactly the problem is. So immediately I was expecting the solution of a problem, and then I came across the situation wherein how we can build up your resume first, and it should pass the ATS. So that is the basic criteria. Once your resume pass the ATS, then the preparation of an interview. So that was one of the beautiful session wherein I was learning how I can spend a whole day in MNC with all my preparations. I should not be exhaustive, and at the end of the day I should come out with a fresh mind. So that was the intention, that I never faced this situation in my life. Every time I was struggling with all my resumes and all these things, but that helps me. And third thing is social media, network, and all these things. That 3 things helped me a lot. And apart from that, multiple tools which you have explained it, how you can create your image, brand, all these things. So I come up with I just gone through all these things, and see, it's a human tendency. People will forget all the things if you don't implement it immediately. So that is the reason I started implementing all these things right from next day, and within 1 week I got succeed in this thing. So I got offer from one of the biggest.
Within 1 week you got success after attending the 3-day program. Is that what you're saying?
I got a success because I was aware of a problem. My resume is not getting shortlisted, and once I'm getting shortlisted, how to crack that I was confident enough. So that resume building and ATS clearance and all these things helped me a lot.
So you used the 3-day program. Within 1 week you got a new job, and what kind of percentage salary hike did you get with your new job?
Okay, I got 43% hike with joining bonus. Everything is good. So it was a good, really a good experience of having this course.
All right, welcome back. So in the first day, which is all about resumes, the output is you will have learned how to create a world-class resume for yourself in just 2 days. Now, if if you were to go online and if you were to go to a site, like for example, in this screen, you can see it's shine.com's, paid service of writing one resume for you. Look at what I've highlighted in yellow on the bottom right hand side. The fee for doing that is 13,398 rupees to write one resume. You don't learn any skills to write a resume yourself. And that resume template cannot be used for multiple jobs. And that is the price for a mid to senior level resume in the market. If you are an entry level junior executive, focus on the top left number, executive level resume writing services, 5,000 rupees. So at the low end, to get one resume written, the market is charging you 5,000 rupees. And at the high end, it's charging you 13,300 bucks. So I think it is very fair to say that the value of what I will teach you on the first day is at least 5,000 rupees, because I'm giving you lifelong skills to understand and write unlimited resumes yourself for your current job search and all your future job searches. On the second day, we will talk about job interviews. I've shown you that to ensure that the output is that you can crack any job interview and you will have all the skills that you need to do that. The value, not the price. These are not the prices. The value of this is at least 8,000 rupees. And finally, on the third day, when we talk about networking with executive search consultants and firms and creating a LinkedIn profile so that you can get a top-notch LinkedIn profile in just 2 days, the value of that is at least 7,000 rupees. So the total value, the total program value is 20,000 rupees, if not much more. I'm being very conservative in terms of the value because I've seen the transformational results it's given students. But that's not the price of the program. I realize that times are hard, people are struggling, many people have been laid off, and I want to make the program as affordable to as many people as possible. All right, so it's not 20,000 rupees. In fact, it's not even half of that. Remember, my aim is to deliver as much as I know over the 3 days to as many people as possible. So it's not even 10,000 rupees. And my question to you here is, if your career is very valuable to you, if you want to rise in your career, put a figure in your mind. How much are you willing to invest so that you get a really good job? You know that I'm not even charging you 10,000 bucks for a 3-day live program.